Glacier National Park was officially established in 1910. It became one of the earliest national parks in the United States, created to preserve one of the most dramatic mountain landscapes in North America. At the time, visitors arrived by train, stepping into a wilderness that felt almost untouched. The park covers more than 1 million acres in northern Montana, right along the Canadian border. It shares that border with Waterton Lakes National Park in Alberta. Together they form the world's first international peace park, designated in 1932. But the story of this land didn't begin in 1910. Long before it became a national park, the Blackfeet Nation lived along the eastern slopes of these mountains. They called this region the backbone of the world. For them, the peaks were sacred places tied to survival, identity, and spiritual tradition. Now look at the mountains themselves. They weren't shaped by earthquakes or volcanoes, they were carved by ice. Over the last 2 million years, repeated ice ages sent massive glaciers grinding through this region. At one point, more than 150 active glaciers covered these valleys. Some of that ice was more than 3,000 feet thick, nearly half a mile of solid pressure. That force carved deep U-shaped valleys, sharp ridgelines, and steep bowl-shaped basins called cirques. Today, fewer than 25 glaciers remain large enough to be officially named. Most have been shrinking for more than a century. Historic photographs from the early 1900s show Grinnell Glacier stretching dramatically down its valley. Modern images reveal how far it has retreated. Scientists estimate that many of the park's glaciers could disappear within decades if current warming trends continue. Glaciers don't just shape mountains, they shape water systems. As ice slowly melts through summer, it feeds rivers long after seasonal snow has disappeared. If glaciers vanish, late summer river levels could drop significantly. And those rivers don't just stay inside the park. They feed massive systems like the Columbia River and the Missouri River, supporting communities far downstream. The park contains more than 700 lakes. Many of them glow with an almost unreal turquoise color. That color comes from glacial flour, microscopic rock particles created when moving ice grinds against stone. These particles remain suspended in the water, reflecting blue and green light. Lake McDonald is the largest lake in the park. It stretches nearly 10 miles long and is famous for its crystal clear water and colorful rounded stones. Those stones were smoothed and polished by glaciers over thousands of years. St. Mary Lake on the eastern side was formed when glacial debris blocked a valley, creating a natural dam. Hidden Lake, perched high near Logan Pass, often remains frozen well into summer. Now consider something unusual about the park's location. Glacier sits along the Continental Divide. This divide separates water that flows toward different oceans, but inside the park is a rare feature known as Triple Divide Peak. At this one mountain, water can flow in 3 completely different directions. Rain falling just feet apart can eventually reach 3 separate oceans. One drop flows west to the Pacific Ocean, another flows east to the Atlantic Ocean, and another flows north toward the Arctic Ocean. Very few places on Earth have this 3-way drainage split. The rock beneath these mountains is even older than the glaciers. Some of it is over 1.6 billion years old. During a massive geological event called the Lewis Overthrust, older rock was pushed up and over younger rock. In most places on Earth, younger rock sits on top. Here, the order is reversed. Ancient stone rests above much newer layers. That unusual layering still fascinates geologists today. The sharp peaks you see are not random shapes. When glaciers carved valleys on both sides of a ridge, they left behind narrow, knife-like edges called arates. When 3 or more glaciers carved around a single high point, they created pointed summits known as horns. Mount Cleveland stands as the tallest peak in the park at 10,466 feet. The park's elevation ranges from around 3,000 feet to over 10,000 feet. That variation creates dramatically different climates within short distances. The western side of the park is wetter and heavily forested. The eastern side is drier and influenced by prairie winds. This contrast creates a wide range of habitats in one connected ecosystem. Glacier is home to more than 70 species of mammals. Grizzly bears still roam these mountains. It's one of the last strongholds for grizzlies in the lower 48 states. Black bears are also common. Wolves have re-established themselves in the region, helping restore predator-prey balance. Mountain goats are often seen balancing on steep cliffs. Interestingly, mountain goats are not native to this area. They were introduced in the early 1900s. Bighorn sheep, however, are native and have lived here for thousands of years. More than 260 species of birds have been recorded in the park. Golden eagles soar above the peaks. Harlequin ducks nest along fast-moving alpine streams. Weather here can change rapidly. Even in summer, snowstorms can arrive without warning at higher elevations. In winter, some parts of the park receive enormous snowfall. Certain areas accumulate more than 80 feet of snow in a season. The Going to the Sun Road crosses the park from east to west. Completed in 1933, it stretches about 50 miles and climbs to Logan Pass at 6,646 feet. Each year, crews must remove massive snowdrifts before the road can reopen. In heavy snow years, that clearing process can take months. Avalanches are common during winter and early spring. Despite modern access, large areas of Glacier remain remote. More than 3 million visitors explore the park each year. Yet beyond the main roads and popular trails, vast wilderness stretches for miles. Cell service is limited in many areas. Wildlife encounters are common, and glacial lakes, while calm-looking, remain dangerously cold year-round. Chinook winds sometimes sweep across the eastern slopes. These warm winds can cause temperatures to rise dramatically in just hours. Snow that took weeks to accumulate can melt in a single day. Wildfires also shape the park. Lightning strikes regularly ignite forest fires. Fire is a natural part of this ecosystem, clearing old growth and allowing new vegetation to take root. Glacier National Park is not frozen in time. Rock slides reshape cliffs, forests burn and regrow, glaciers retreat, new landscapes slowly emerge where ice once dominated. The park that was protected in 1910 continues to change, carved by ice over millions of years, built from some of the oldest rock on the continent, positioned where water can choose between 3 oceans, a landscape shaped by pressure, uplift, wind, snow, and time, and still evolving today. Would you explore a place where ancient stone sits above younger earth, where rivers decide between 3 seas, and where the ice that created it may soon disappear?